Hello and welcome to the 2021-2022 Ncba Annual League Meeting. My name is Christian Smith. I'm Vice President of Baseball Operations. I want to thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to be going over a lot of great information. I want to make sure that you guys know two things. Remember two things, that this meeting will be recorded. So if you have to leave us in the middle or weren't able to watch it with us live, you can tune in at your earliest convenience to get all this great information we're going to go over. The other thing I want you to remember, and we'll be talking about it quite a bit, this meeting is interactive, so we encourage you to ask questions, leave no questions unanswered. So during the meeting, if something comes to you, we're going over a slide and you have a question, please enter your name, your team affiliation, and your question into the comments section below. And the guy, Justin, will be in the control room monitoring the comment section. We'll answer, or we'll ask the presenter the question. We'll try and give you a good answer. That being said, let's get this thing started. I want to make sure you guys know you can download the meeting slides from the headlines section of all three division websites. Follow along with us, but yeah, you can download those at clubbaseball.org. And I just mentioned it a few minutes ago, or a few seconds ago. Type your team name, team affiliation, your name, and your question in the comments section, and we'll have that question read aloud and answered. Give you a background. If you don't know, we are based here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That is where our headquarters and our offices are, right down on the north side of PA. You got our phone number and our fax number there, as well as our website that you should all be familiar with. Tonight, the agenda we're going to be going over. Meeting the Ncba staff. We're going to be talking about the front office. We're also going to be talking about our regional directors that we're really proud to have on board. Then we'll also be getting into this past year, 2020, 2021, which we're really proud of. It was a tough year, and we were really happy that we were able to get a number of teams to play and also eventually crown a national champion. So we're really proud that we were able to accomplish that, even though it was, not ideal. We also want to talk about what's to come. We have bright horizons in front of us, so we're really excited for the 2021-2022 year. Then we're going to get into breakout sessions, and these breakout sessions are really good, especially session one for new team officers. If you're a first-team president or a first-team officer, we're going to be going over a lot of great information on deadlines, documents, things to look out for throughout the course of the year. So that'll be great for you. And then we'll get into our closing. I don't think we're going to have you guys here too long. But again, please, if you have any questions, let us know. I want to talk about the front office here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Our president, Sandy Sanderson, wasn't able to join us tonight. He's actually down in Panama City Beach, where our spring training facility is located. He was talking with a lot of hotels and touring the facility once again to make sure it's good to go for you, all you teams coming down in March. So we miss him, but I'm sure he's tuning in. Myself, I'm Vice President of Baseball Operations. Our Director of Division I Baseball Operations and the Director of Marketing is Eric Curator. I don't know if anybody tuned into Suite 301 today, but he's been with the organization for 10 years. So I want to give him some congratulations on that. But you'll be seeing Eric later in the meeting. We have our Director of Division II Baseball Operations, Jimmy Henderson. Jimmy's just got hired this summer. We're really excited about Jimmy coming on board. He is a former club baseball player at West Virginia University, so he knows what you guys are going through. Our sponsor account manager that's overseeing the fundraiser, Avis and Motel 6, that's Eric as well. He'll be giving you some information on those sponsors. Our treasurer is Sandy Sanderson Sr. That is not a coincidence. That is, in fact, Sandy's father. He actually works in the same building as us, so we're really lucky to have him on board as our treasurer. Jeannie Kurachala, she is our accounting specialist. She's the one getting out invoices to all you guys. And I'm sure you're seeing emails from her, but she's the one behind the scenes getting all the invoices out, making sure our books are accurate. So we really love having Jeannie on board with us. Our Rawlings sponsor account manager is Justin Rickard. Justin will also be on the meeting later in the meeting, going over the Rawlings and all the benefits that sponsorship has to offer. Felicia Battaglia is the game sponsor account manager. The game is the official headwear sponsor of the NCBA. All teams must wear the game hats for all NCBA sanctioned games. So she'll be on to give you information on how to order, pricing, those kinds of things. Our Division I Rules Committee rep is Joe Caracci. He's a former head baseball coach at East Carolina University. He's been a part of the NCBA for many, many years. He knows the game inside and out and the organization inside and out. So we're really happy to have him on board as the Division I Rules Committee rep that votes on your behalf. A Division II Rules Committee rep, Chad Lowe, another guy that's been around for years. He was actually the first ever full-time employee with the NCBA. A little trivia there for you. But Chad's currently the head baseball coach at Ohio State Club Baseball. So really happy to have those two on our Rules Committee. They bring a lot of insight to that committee. And then last but not least, the director of our umpires is Ryan Hastings, and he's another guy that's been around the club baseball scene and NCBA for a very long time. So our D1 staff, these are the regional directors, all 8 regions. You got the North Atlantic, Eric Curator is overseeing that one. In the Mid-Atlantic, we're really happy Stephen Baker, who's been a Division II regional director for a number of years. He's just been doing great things. He ran a regional this past spring, and he's just a great guy that we have on board. So we were really excited when the Mid-Atlantic regional position opened up. He was all about it. He's a former club baseball player at NC State, so he knows the region pretty well, but we're really happy to have Stephen on board. In the South Atlantic, Justin Rickard, another guy that put on a regional this past spring, knew that region inside and out, knew the teams inside and out. So we're really happy to bring him on. This is his first year running that region, so all the teams in the South Atlantic are going to be in good hands with Justin. In the Great Lakes, Joey Schaefer, he's actually producing the show tonight, doing a great work. He runs the Great Lakes, has been doing that for a number of years, so we're really thankful to have Joe on board. The Gulf Coast, ran by Ryan Norris. Everybody knows Ryan. He's the voice of Cole Club Sports. One of the greatest guys ever. I mean, he's super talented. If you ever heard a World Series broadcast, and he runs great things down in the Gulf Coast, putting on Wood Wars, which is a fall tournament that's second to none. So we're blessed beyond belief to have Ryan a part of our organization. The Mid-America, Evan Ford, former player at Colorado School of Mines, another guy that's been running that region for a number of years, a great guy, really energetic, really happy. Good guy to be around. So happy to have Evan on board. The Northern Pacific, we got David Stull. David was a recommendation of Norman Doyle, former head coach at Utah State. He's such a great guy. He does such great things with us. He checks in with us all the time. But he does great things with that NOPAC region. And then last but not least, in the SOPAC, we have Nick Trulio. Nick is a former club baseball player, pitcher at the University of Nevada, national champion as well. Nick has been in that position for a couple of years. He's been doing great things as well in the SOPAC, so we're happy to have him on board as well. As far as D2 goes, the theme of this slide, you'll see we're looking for a lot of volunteers. At the D1 level, we got a great group of guys. So at the D2 level, we're also looking for a great group of guys. We have Gary Robinson, who's been around for a number of years running various regions at the D2 level. Jeff Bober, same way. Mike Smith out in the Pacific. Those 3 guys we absolutely love having on board, but we have quite a few openings. So if you want to stay involved with club baseball, if you want to put something on a resume as a resume builder, this can be a great opportunity. So if you're interested in being a part of it, please reach out to us. We would love to have you explain kind of the responsibilities day in and day out. It's not too much work, and it's really rewarding. So we would love to have you. Reach out to Jimmy if any of those positions interest you, and we'd love to talk to you about it and try and get you on board. Again, if you're just joining us, you can download the meeting slides on clubbaseball.org and follow along with us. So I want to get into the year in review, the 2020-2021 season. We're going to go over a general timeline of how things panned out this past year. We're going to be talking about the rule changes that went in place last year. I'm not going to spend too much time on those slides because no real point to go over them at this time. We're going to talk about our membership and then we're going to look into the realignment and then the postseason from this past year. So this slide, I just wanted to show, didn't have a ton of teams play this past year because of COVID, but we as a league, we tried to engage with the teams as much as possible. So this kind of gives you an idea of the different, things that we put into place throughout the course of the year. On September 10th, we were really excited. We released the all-decade team from 2010 to 2019. We sat down and did several days of deliberations on different players and got down to our all-decade team. You can find that on our website. So congratulations to all that made that. In the fall of 2020, we had 7 teams that were cleared to play. It just so happened those teams were in a nice pocket and can play together. But we had Minnesota, South Dakota State, North Dakota State, Iowa State, Missouri Science and Technology, and Kansas State. All 7 of those teams played games in the fall of 2020. September 18th through the 20th, we were really excited. We had baseball finally back. A lot of people didn't know if we were going to have baseball back in the 2021 season, so we were really happy that South Dakota State hosting Minnesota and North Dakota State hosting North Dakota State. So we had our first set of games for the 21 season. And then another thing that we did across all of our leagues, we hosted Zoom meetings. And we tried to at first break these Zoom meetings down region by region so that we were giving these teams the most updated information for their specific region. And then we hosted a league-wide Zoom meeting, but it was a great chance for us to talk with the teams, let them know that we were here for them, answer any questions, get information from them. The teams gave us great information. So they were a huge success. We were really happy how those turned out and the information that we were able to gather from those. On November 5th, another thing we tried to do to engage with the teams was releasing Featured Team of the Week. I don't know if teams got to see those, but we at least tried to release a Team of the Week, highlight their achievements on a weekly basis. Just another way for us to try and engage with the teams and make sure that they knew we were here for them. It's not like we shut the doors and you weren't going to hear from us. And then on February 2nd, tough decision, but it just had to happen. We had to consolidate Division II and Division III into one league. And then on February 16th, we just knew we weren't going to have the participation to do a D1 and D2. So we consolidated to one league for the spring of 2021. And we had 43 teams, which, is quite less than what we're used to, and we'll see that in a few slides. But it is something we're really proud of because I think there was a lot of thought that we weren't going to have a season in 2021. So to have 43 teams play, to have conference play and regionals and a national championship, we were really happy with that. So thank you to the teams and, even to the teams that couldn't play. We're sorry that you weren't able to be a part of it, but like I said, we're really excited for this upcoming season. We hosted 6 regional tournaments on May 14th through the 16th in various parts of the country. And then on May 28th through June 2nd, we hosted the national championship, which was a huge success. I don't think it could have went any better. So we were really happy with how, given the circumstances, how the season panned out. I just want to touch on a few of these real quick. Again, these are rules that were put in place for the 2021 season. We talked about, we knew COVID was going to be a factor this year in this season, so we took a lot of thought into that and taking considerations from the teams, their suggestions. But a lot of these, since we're going to be, possibly looking at COVID having a slight impact on things this upcoming year, we had a lot of these rules kind of be pushed over to the 21-22 season. But the fall conference series schedule requirement where teams in certain areas have to have a fall conference season scheduled, we suspended that. We suspended that for this upcoming year, which we'll talk about. We put a max cap or we actually took the cap off of the 2-game for teams that have from the same university in multiple divisions. We took the 2-game cap. They could play an unlimited amount. Non-conference requirement, that was a big thing. At D1 level, D1 teams have to play 3 non-conference games. D2 teams have to play 1. We suspended that. We did, and this is something moving forward, lineup cards. They have to have not only the last name but also the first initial, and another COVID-impacted rules, roster flexibility, which we'll get into for this upcoming year, and then eligibility as well. That's a COVID eligibility rule that we put in place. We have a new one that's in place for 21-22, so no sense in going over that. We did allow exceptions for individuals enrolled in inclusive higher education programs. So, for example, a student with maybe a learning disability, if they're part of a inclusive higher education program that's sponsored by Think College, there's some exceptions to the eligibility rules. And we also, another one to highlight, we updated the halted game rules. There was kind of a loophole in there where we closed it, but it was a scenario in which the home team tie or take the lead in the bottom half of the inning, and the game getting called because of lights or weather or whatever the case may be. We closed that loophole, so we're really happy with how the halted game rules came out. And then the forfeits, we just made sufficient notice, a specific number, and that was 48 hours in the forfeit section. So those are the rules that were put in place for 2021. We'll be going over the rules that we just put in place for this upcoming spring. Wanted to talk about our membership. Obviously, you see at our peak we had 308 member teams, and then we got down to 306 the last 2 years. There should be dates under there, but you obviously see for this past spring we had 43 teams, and again, I'll mention it. While that's not a good number, it's not the direction we want to go. Again, we were really happy that we were able to provide a season for those 43 teams. I think this year our projections, or at least our goals, is to be at 85% of where we were in pre-COVID, which is that 306 number. So I think we're shooting for around 260, but I believe we've already surpassed that as far as paperwork goes. Might be at the 260, 265, 270 membership number, which is good. Coming off, we're calling it the rebound year. Realignment. This is the realignment that happened this past year. Again, I'm not going to get into too much of it, but we had to consolidate all 3 divisions into one. So you see consolidation of Division I, Division II, and Division III teams possibly playing in the same conference. But we had 6 separate regions. The Northern Plains, which had 2 conferences in it. The North Atlantic, which was just 3 teams. And then we had the Northern Pacific, which was 3 conferences. South Atlantic was 2 conferences. The Mid-America was 2 conferences. The Great Lakes was 3 conferences. Then we had the Gulf Coast and the Southern Pacific with 1 member team in each of those regions. You see there Texas A&M Corps of Cadets and St. Mary's College. Just the way things laid out, they were given an automatic bid to the World Series since we didn't have any teams for them to play. Unfortunately, and this is not any fault to their own. It was just they weren't able to make it to the World Series. So it's while they declined, it wasn't they wanted to be there. Their factors wouldn't allow them to do so. But we had 6 regions that we were really excited about, and then getting into the postseason. I'm not going to go through all of that stuff, but really happy that we were able to pull these off, because it was a lot of teams joining last minute, and realignment, and how are they going to play, and working with teams, kind of trying to find a new geographically neutral location for these regional locations. So give a lot of credit to Eric Curator, who put a lot of time, effort into finding these locations, locking them down, and also our regional directors. the countless hours that we put in to get these off the ground. But yeah, we had the Northern Plains, which is held in the Woodside Sports Complex in Mouston. I hope I'm saying that right, Wisconsin. But 4-team regional, top 2 teams from each of those conferences moved on. You had number 1 Ohio State, number 2 North Dakota, number 3 Northern Iowa, and number 4 North Dakota State. North Dakota went 3-0 in that regional, and we also awarded an at-large bid to Iowa State. They took one of the spots that Texas A&M Corps Cadets and St. Mary's College, one of their spots. In the North Atlantic, we just had a 2-team regional. It was the top 2 finishers of that conference. It's just a best of 3. Number 1 Salisbury and number 2 Sacred Heart. Salisbury went 2-0. They earned their berth into the World Series. In the NOPAC, we had Yakima County Stadium in Yakima, Washington. That was a 4-team regional. Oregon and Utah State got automatic bids to that regional. And then the top 2 in the North Conference also competed. So we had Gonzaga, Utah State, Oregon, and Eastern Washington. Oregon went 3-0, defeating Gonzaga in the championship game to earn their berth. In the South Atlantic, we were held down in Legion Field in Greenwood, South Carolina. That was a 4-team regional. Top 2 from each conference moved on to that one. Number 1 ECU, number 2 Georgia Tech, number 3 Virginia Tech, and number 4 Lander. Virginia Tech defeated ECU in the if necessary game to earn their berth. They obviously went on to win the national championship. But East Carolina also earned an at-large bid to the World Series. Mid-America, we had in Memorial Field in Kearney, Nebraska, where we've held several regional tournaments. That was also a 4-teamer. Top 2 from each conference: Nebraska, Kansas State, Missouri Science and Tech, and Wayne State, which was a new program that joined literally in like February of 2021. So we're really happy, their success they had on the field that early on. Nebraska did go 3-0, defeating Kansas State 15-5 in the championship game to earn their way to the World Series. And then Great Lakes, we held at C.O. Brown Stadium in Battle Creek, which teams in that region are really familiar with. Again, a 4-team regional, top 2 teams from the Central, the winner of the West, and West Virginia moved on. We had Iowa, Bowling Green, West Virginia, and Adrian. Iowa went 3-0, defeating Adrian 8-2 in the championship game. And then Gulf Coast, we didn't have anything. SOPAC, we didn't have anything. They had automatic bids, but were not able to make it. The World Series, the national championship, we held at Al Orlandi Field in Pittsburgh, Kansas, and that was May 22nd through May 28th through June 2nd. I hope that you guys were able to tune in. If you weren't able to tune in, they're all archived, all the games. It was certainly a World Series for the ages. We had 2 absolutely spectacular pitching performances that we'll talk about. But it was just an awesome, awesome event. We can't thank Pittsburgh, Kansas, Pittsburgh State University for their hospitality. Again, to kind of pull this off in the short amount of time. I want to give a lot of credit to our staff because it was a lot of work and a lot of stress and anxiety, but we pulled it off, and I thought it went terrifically. So obviously we kind of touched on it, but the teams was, and this is the seeding. You had number 1 Nebraska, number 2 Iowa, number 3 Salisbury, number 4 North Dakota, 5 Oregon, 6 VTech, 7 Iowa State, which was an at-large bid, and 8 was East Carolina. They were also the at-large bid. That rounded out the field of teams. Some of the highlights, and these highlights, I don't want to, this to be any disrespect to all the 7 other teams, but this is obviously heavy Virginia Tech because, like I said, there were 2 unbelievable pitching performances by their staff. Skylar Petrie threw a no-hitter against the University of Iowa. I think that final score was 2-0. And then later on in the national championship game, Braden Hoopsch. I'm sorry, I'm messing that one up, but that's no disrespect to him because he pitched a hell of a game, obviously. Threw a perfect game in the national championship. It doesn't get any better than that. But they took down Iowa State to lead the Hokies to their first ever national championship. We obviously had to give the co-MVP to Skylar and Braden for their performances. Also want to highlight we had the Marucci Long Ball Challenge. That was another great event. Matt Miller from North Dakota won the 2021 Marucci Long Ball Challenge. Hats off to him. And as I mentioned, all games were aired live, and we had great graphics. I really hope that you tune in or at least check these games out, because they are second to none. The production is second to none. I mean, it is really, it's not just slapped together. I mean, we got the pitch counts and, the scores and the runners on base on the scoreboard, along with, the nameplates and all that stuff. So hats off to our production team and getting that put together. I also want to say thank you to the Pittsburgh, Kansas media. We got great media coverage out there. A lot of news channels and news outlets came out to cover the games. So thank you to all those that came out. And, just to kind of highlight Virginia Tech's run, they were the number 6 seed, and they defeated Iowa State, like I said, 6-0. But Virginia Tech lost their opening game to Salisbury. So they had to battle through that loser's bracket to make it to the national championship game and eventually obviously win their national championship. But one other crazy statistic, if you want to call it, Virginia Tech and East Carolina, they're normally in the same region, but I think they developed a great rivalry just this past year. They played 8 times, 3 times in conference, and then 3 times at their regional, and then 2 times at the World Series. Even in non-condensed seasons, a team to play another team 8 times is unheard of. So for them to play East Carolina 8 times in a very condensed season, absolutely crazy. Hats off to all the teams. Thank you for participating. Obviously, hats off to President John Spalding at Virginia Tech. He put together a great team and really proud to call them national champions. So that's going to cap this past year, 2020, 2021. Again, if you're just tuning in, we haven't got our first question yet. Hopefully, let us know that you're tuning in. Maybe type your name, team affiliation. Just let us know you're watching. So Justin has something to do back there. He can say hello to you. But, please ask us any questions you may have, and we'd love to answer those. So let's talk about this upcoming year. Really, really, really excited about this upcoming year. Really, really optimistic. But we're going to be talking about the new teams we have on board. We're going to be getting into some realignment, which we are really in the depths of realignment as we speak. Literally the last few days, that's really all we've been doing. We're going to talk about the rules committee and the new rules that have been put in place, and then we'll get into those breakout sessions. Talking about team operations, tournaments and championships, and then sponsors and fundraisers. So we got 4 new teams on board officially. Campbell University down in North Carolina, South Dakota School of Mines. University of South Carolina had great numbers, great turnouts. They were able to field a second team. They'll be in Division II. And then just recently you added Old Dominion University, a team that was in the league in previous years, but they're coming back on. So happy to have those on. We have 10 teams that have expressed interest in coming on board. You can see the list down there, but some teams that will really be excited to welcome on. They expressed interest, but we fully expect to have a lot of those teams join this upcoming year. So this realignment, again, we are in the middle of it right now. So I know teams have been kind of looking at websites and seeing, why are there 15 teams in our conference? The website is just kind of a holding place for teams right now, especially at the D2 level. So if you're a D2 team and checking out your conference online, that's not what it's going to be. It's kind of just a holding place. And remember, this year, I don't know if I've mentioned it or not, but like I said, we're expecting to be at that 260 mark. That's not enough teams to host a Division III league. So we will only be hosting a Division I and Division II league. We fully expect to have the Division III league, 3 divisions in 22, 23. So with 2 divisions at the D1 level, I think we're mostly wrapped up as far as realignment goes. D1's much more stable as far as realignment, not a lot of changes from year to year. So you can anticipate teams that were in your conference pre-COVID, generally speaking, for the most part, they're going to be the same conference or same teams in your conference. Not going to be the case for everybody, but for the vast majority, you can count on the teams in your conference in previous years being the same teams this year. We have 126 teams at the D1 level that have submitted renewal paperwork, which is exciting for us. And to kind of get into some specific realignment, Houston Community College, they requested to be moved down to Division II, which we were able to grant. Really excited to have Auburn University move up to the Division I level. They, pre-COVID, were a D3 team. They had just joined not too long ago. So they were just chomping at the bit. We're so excited to get to the D1 level, which we as a staff love to see teams, really wanting to make their way at the D1 level. And we got our first question. Oh, man.
Hey, Christian, this first question is from UC Irvine. How do we confirm that we have all our documents in so far, and are good to go for the season?
That's a great question. And you can reach out, you're a Division II team, you can reach out to Jimmy Henderson, and he can confirm all that for you. You can literally send Jimmy Henderson an email at jimmy.henderson@callclubsports.com. and just ask them, hey, are we all set? Do we got all of our documents in? I think the three documents that, are kind of outstanding are the league participation agreement, reg form, and the scheduling request form. So I think if you have those three documents completed, you'll be all set. In regards to the scheduling request form, I don't know if you guys choose to play in the fall or not, but if you don't, that wouldn't be due. But yeah, you can confirm that with Justin. Any D1 teams out there that want to get confirmation, they can reach out to Eric Curator at erica.curator@callclubsports.com. Got another one, Justin?
Yeah, Christian, this one is from Boston University, and it said we were in Division I in the past, and we are returning to the league in Division II. Is there any possibility to move up back to Division I?
I was just talking about Auburn. We love seeing teams and wanting to get back up to D1. I believe at this point, a big factor in us being able to move teams up to Division I is their space. We like, especially in Boston University's geographic area, springs are very short. So we like to keep conferences condensed to about 6 teams at most. So in order for us to have Boston University come up, there has to be an opening. And I don't believe that would be a North Atlantic region. I don't believe there's any openings at this point. But if you know our rule book, we have relegation rules. So if a team finishes at the bottom of the conference standings, I believe 2 years in a row, they are up for auto relegation if there's room for them to move down, which would mean there's room for teams to move up. So that is something to keep in mind. We would love to have you guys back up at the D1 level. Certainly put that on our radar. Shoot Eric Curator an email, saying, hey, if you are interested this year, or maybe it's next year, that, we're interested in moving up to D1 so that we at least can keep it on file to know that, if something does happen and an opening does come available, we can put you in there. So another great question. So the other big the realignment news at the D1 level, and it's something we've been working on for years, is trying to compress the Gulf Coast, which is the Texas teams, and then into Louisiana, compressing that into 2 conferences and then bringing teams from the South Atlantic West to become the Gulf Coast East. So we're able to do that this year. We're going to be able to compress the Gulf Coast into 2 conferences. And then we're going to have a new Gulf Coast East conference with LSU, Tulane, Mississippi State, and Alabama. Not sure if we've made that official by getting that out to the teams, but that is at least the plan. So we're really excited about that. I know Ryan Norris, the Gulf Coast Regional Director, was excited about Mississippi State, and Bama joining the Gulf Coast. Not only are those teams going to be in excellent hands with Ryan, he said, that's just going to make our region that much better. So he's really excited about it. So that's something that's on the horizon. And just kind of mentioning, backfilling that South Atlantic West. Auburn will move into that South Atlantic West with, I think it's Kennesaw State, Georgia Tech, and University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, and we're looking at another team possibly bumping over to that conference to get it to 5. So that's pretty much it at the D1 level. At the D2 level, it's much more complex because we are consolidating basically 2 divisions. All Division 3 teams that have their paperwork in are now a part of Division 2, which kind of helps with conferences. You might see, your conference is much more condensed, a lot less travel, because we have a influx of teams coming into Division 2. We have 135 teams with paperwork in at the Division 2 level. So as I talked about, I think that's, if my math is correct, that's 261 total. And we still have a couple latecomers, so we might be to 265, 270. We got another question.
This question is from Cal U in Pennsylvania, from Nick Arnone, coach of Cal UPA. He wants to know, is there a date that we will know our fall schedules by, or a roundabout time? Asking because I know a lot of tryouts are coming up.
Hey, Nick, great question. Thank you for tuning in. Jimmy Henderson, Director of Division II Baseball Operations, is working on your schedules as we speak. Literally, he might be over there working on them right now. So you can expect that conference schedule to be out at the latest, I would say, early next week, but I think we're shooting for having conference schedules out by this Friday. So I know I call it the Pittsburgh area conference. That is one that we are currently working on and will be out very, very shortly. And I believe we have 11 different conferences that we're scheduling at the D2 level right now. So if you're in an area that plays fall ball, that's eligible to, I know all Division II is eligible to play fall, but if you are a team in the North Atlantic, maybe even down into the Mid-Atlantic that needs to play fall ball, maybe even the Great Lakes, we are working on your conference schedules if we have, kind of shored up that conference. So conference schedules will be coming out very, very soon. But that's a great question, and thank you for bringing that up so I can announce that. Talked about it earlier. We got Houston Community College will be joining Division II. They'll be joining those teams down in Texas. Got Auburn leaving Division II and heading up to D1. But we're also reaching out to a few other teams to gauge interest if they want to move up, and that's kind of holding us back from finalizing some realignment. So we've reached out. Please, if we have reached out to you, if you want joining D1, try and let us know ASAP so that we can finalize some things. But again, like Nick asked, realignment should be completed very, very shortly, but we know conferences, several conferences that are done, signed, sealed, delivered, and we are working on those conference schedules as we speak. For any teams that are out there that if you're watching, if you don't have your LPA in, you are in very serious jeopardy of not being a member of the league for 21-22, or at least putting your fate in the hands of your conference opponents. They will need to vote you in if you do come in on late. I know a lot of this is out of your hands. It's school-related factors that aren't allowing you to turn the paperwork in, but just keep in mind that we need to move forward at some point, and if you don't have your paperwork in, we're going to have to move on without you. But keep in mind, if you are able to join and send in the LPA, please do it, and we will do everything in our power to get you in. But one of those things that we have to go through is petition the teams of the conference that you would go in to see if they would allow you. So just keep that in mind. Okay, I want to talk about this year's Rules Committee meeting and the rules we passed for this upcoming year. We talked about it very early on in the meeting. Joe Caracci's the D1 Rules Committee teams rep. Chad Lowe's the D2 Rules Committee team rep. This fall, I forget off the top of my head, one of their seats is going to be up for re-election. So if it's something you want to be a part of, we'll have that information coming out this fall. Oh, it says D2 Rules Committee Teams Rep is up for election. I'll have to confirm that is in fact accurate. We have 7 members of that committee. We have the president, Sandy Sanderson, VP, myself, D1 and D2 league directors, Eric and Jimmy, and then Ryan Norris, who was selected as the at-large regional director, and then both Rules Committee reps. So our committee, not to toot our own horn, but it is filled with guys that have been around the league for many, many, many years, know the league inside and out. And Joe and Chad are 2 guys that in my opinion, as a team, they fight for you. I know it gets heated sometimes because they fight on your behalf. So they're 2 great options for Rules Committee reps. This past meeting was held on July 24th. We discussed, we debated, we voted, and established any changes to the NCBA rules. Teams were able to submit their rule suggestions through that form, which streamlines things for us, makes it a lot easier. And then we always discuss every single rule. Some of them, they don't garner enough interest or enough support to support a vote. So they are all discussed, though. I can promise you that. Want to go over these rules. These are all rules that passed. I have a couple on here that did not pass that I wanted to highlight. But the fall conference schedule requirements. So in years past, teams in the north at the D1 level, teams in the North Atlantic, Great Lakes, Mid-America North, and then the Mid-Atlantic West, teams that were eligible to play fall, they were required to have a conference schedule series scheduled in the fall. We suspended that rule for this upcoming year. D2 teams, same thing. There's certain regions that were required to schedule a conference series in the fall. We suspended that. All teams that are in D2 are eligible to play fall still. And the teams in those specific regions that are fall ball allowed can still play fall games, and we highly encourage it, but we didn't want to make it mandatory. So that got suspended for the 21-22 season. The D1 performance bond increase, we put in place a $300 increase to bring the total performance bond to $600 to go into effect for the 2020-2021 year. We suspended that for this past year, and we're also going to suspend it this upcoming year. Just we know teams financially aren't where they used to be, so we certainly didn't want to put more stress and anxiety on the budget for 21-22. So that has been suspended, but keep in mind that will, hopefully, not hopefully, but that should go into effect for 22-23. So plan for that now. D2 courtesy runners in re-entry. Courtesy runners being allowed for catcher only with any number of outs in the inning. Previously, it was with 2 outs. We are allowing courtesy runner for the catcher only with any outs in the inning. For the 2022-2023 season, we are planning to drop courtesy runners at the D2 level. We feel that we're going to have the Division III league in 22-23, and we want to have courtesy runners at the D3 level, but not at the D2 level. So we already voted for that to pass for next year, but that certainly will be reevaluated at next year's meeting. And then allowing re-entry for all starting players at the D2 level for the 21-22 season, that was passed as well. We put that in place last year at the D2 level, and are going to continue that at the D2 level for this upcoming year. Equipment. These are 2 rules that did not pass, but I wanted to highlight them just because I want to make sure we're all on the same page here. Catcher's gear to be any color. We had a team this past rules committee submit that they have guys that are catchers that have their high school equipment that are completely different color than their team colors at the club level. We want to make sure that teams know that didn't get passed. You have to wear the catcher's gear has to be either black or gray or match the team colors. We want to make sure all the teams know that you can get a complete set of catcher's gear: helmet, chest guard, leg guards, complimentary through your membership. So hopefully that isn't an issue where you can get that color that does match your uniform. Another one that came up was allowing any color barreled bat, specifically white barreled bats, to be allowed. We had teams, 2 teams specifically, bring this up. At the end of the day, this did not pass, mainly because it is a liability. It's a safety issue. And, split seconds matter, and if a pitcher can pick up the ball quicker off a dark-colored bat as opposed to a white-barreled bat, that makes a big difference. So that was the big reason why we didn't allow. We know teams, have an inventory of white-barrel bats that they can't use, but it comes down to player safety, and we didn't want to jeopardize that in any way, shape, or form. Another aspect of that rule that I'm forgetting now. I'm forgetting now. I'll come back to it. But I had it on my head. Anyway, sorry guys. Name, image, likeness. I'll move on. If I get it, I'll come back to it. Name, image, likeness. NCAA. If you've been living under a rock, what you want to know about it. But name, image, likeness. NCAA allowed players to, or student athletes to cash in on their name, image, and likeness. We have a rule where if you are a professional, you're not eligible to compete in the Ncba. But if any of our players are to cash in on name, image, likeness, that'll be excluded from that definition of professional, which is receiving monetary values from outside sources. So that passed. Eligibility. So we have a rule in place that I think a lot of people get confused. They see it in the rule book, and they think if you're 25 years old, and now it got bumped a year later to 26, but if you're 26 years old, that you cannot play in the Ncba. That is not the case. The specific rule is you have to enroll as a full-time undergraduate before your 25th birthday. So you could have enrolled at the age of 24 and played 5 seasons and been 30 years old and playing in the Ncba. So I want to make sure teams understand that just because you are 25 or 26 or 27 or 28, that does not just mean, hey, you flat out can't play. You have to meet the eligibility rules, but it's just not a flat out no. So we actually moved that age from 25 to 26. We did some research and found the actual average age for a college student is actually 26 years old. So it made sense for us to bump that up a year. So that gives teams players another year to enroll as a full-time undergrad. That passed 5-2. And then this is if your final year of eligibility was interrupted by COVID in the 2019-20 season or the 2021 season, you can apply for an extra year of eligibility to be used in the 21-22 season, provided that you're taking at least 1 credit at that university. So if that is something that did impact you, please reach out to us and we'll get the information we need and we can determine eligibility for you if we can give that to you. Other things that got put in place, max cap, we talked about that. Teams from the same university have teams in different divisions. In years past, they can only play 2 games and count them to their non-conference record, keeping in mind those games could not count towards the regional or World Series seeding. Then last year we took that cap off. They could play an unlimited number. We put that cap back on. So teams can only play 2 games, against their same university in a different division and count them. Again, those games do not count towards World Series or regional seeding. The non-conference game requirement for postseason eligibility, that has been suspended. So you are not required to play a non-conference game to be eligible for the postseason. And then we provided some roster flexibility, continuation if you're at the roster max. Player has documented COVID, he can be replaced. That got passed. But we did remove the rules providing schools with multiple teams flexibility if there's COVID documented case that they can move up and down with no time limits. So we're going to have the updated rule books out here shortly. That is something we're knee deep in realignment right now, but hope to have the updated rule books out online and to you guys within the coming weeks, certainly before the start of the season. Oh, my voice needs a break. I'm going to turn the meeting over to Eric Curator and Jimmy Henderson. Eric will be the first one on, and they're going to be talking about all these important documents and deadlines and things like that in the team operations session.
All right, thank you, Christian. We're going to talk a little bit about team operations as I get into a good position here. We're good. So myself will speak first, Eric Curator, Director of D1 Ops, and followed by Jimmy Henderson, who's our Director of D2 Ops. Just a quick reminder how to ask a question. Hit that chat box. Please list your name, affiliation, and we'll answer it accordingly. All right, so this first one over team operations, the League Participation Agreement, the LPA. As Christian mentioned earlier, we are in realignment. We are knee-deep in it, and you guys need to get your LPAs in ASAP. We are accounting for all teams for this 21-22 season, and if you don't have it in by now, you are risking not being included for the upcoming season. So I'm sure you've been hearing from us every day in the last couple of weeks about getting that form in, and if you haven't gotten it in yet, please contact us immediately because we want to know that you are having the intention of coming back and playing so we can account for you within realignment. The second form is the registration form. This is another big one. This just helps us have the appropriate contact information. It's big for you guys too because as we send out information throughout the coming weeks, the coming months for the upcoming season, it ensures that the appropriate guys get it on your end. Obviously, there's a lot of turnover each year with guys, officers, new guys taking over the team. We don't want to be sending emails to a guy who just graduated, who hasn't checked his school email in 5 months. So we want to make sure the right guys are getting our emails. It helps the both of us at the end of the day. The scheduling request form, a lot of you guys have seen this already. In D2, I imagine all of you have gotten it already because you are all eligible to play. In Division 1, just a handful of you guys are eligible to play. This form is huge because it gives us the information we need to help put our schedules together, conference schedules, excuse me. You tell us all your availability for the fall and the spring, when you have a home field, when you don't, when you need weekends off, when you'd like to be away, when you have certain events on campus that you'd like to be off for. You give us more information, the better. We then take that information from every team and we kind of just put this schedule together, conference schedule together like a puzzle from there. So it's huge for us and for you guys to get that in. On the Division II level, as we were saying earlier, we're knocking out conferences as fast as possible. Division I, we're doing the same thing as well. So please get that information to us ASAP. It's going to benefit you guys at the end of the day as well. The general liability insurance policy covers the Ncba and its member teams. The $2 million general aggregate and the $1 million per occurrence. It might be mumbo jumbo to you, but it means a lot to your school. It means a lot to your club sports director. It's huge for when you guys rent fields out. It's going to cover them at the end of the day. They can get added on to our policy. It's something that your school should know about. So please let them know that you guys are covered in that sense. And if you guys need to add on a facility to our policy, let us know ASAP so we can go about that process. With that, reserving fields, don't procrastinate. As soon as you get your schedule, or heck, even before it, contact the fields that you guys usually use, whether it's your campus field or your local parks and rec. Block off dates. It's going to help you with your schedule request form too. But as soon as you get your schedule, you're going to want to contact them ASAP so you can get your dates blocked off. Because as the home team, you are responsible for securing that home facility at the end of the day. And it will also help you with insurance stuff too. So the more head start you get, the better. Scheduling umpires, the same idea. You need at least 2 high school certified umpires at the end of the day. In the fall and the spring, I'm sure there's a lot of high school ball going on, travel ball, whatever it may be in your area. The quicker you guys can give them your schedules and your needs, the better off you're going to be. Reconfirm once those dates are set. That's big. That's in bold for a reason. You guys are held responsible for securing those umpires. The day of the game, the week of the game, you're going to want to reconnect with them to make sure they're still on schedule with you guys. Because if they don't show up, whatever the reason may be, you guys are responsible for it, and we'd hate to see that. So you guys just need to be as proactive as possible with those umpires. All right, so this is a big one: team manager access and online player registration. At the beginning of the year, the team manager, I imagine that's going to be your president, your vice president, or somebody else that you guys designate, will request team manager access from us at the Ncba, our front office. The team manager from there has all the access, the behind-the-scenes stuff. They can update your social media stuff. They can update your website. They can see who's registered online. They basically get all the backside information to your guys' team for the year. Your individual players will then register online, whether they're returning or new. It's a very easy process. We have instructions for them to follow. And then the big thing is the team code. So once you're a team manager, you're going to get that team code from us, or excuse me, from the website. Once you have that access, and that team code is tied to your team. So say you're Penn State. You need a specific team code to be tied to Penn State as soon as you register. It's important for you to know that. If you don't have the team code, you're not going to be able to register. So this entire process is very important, and you need to follow it just to make sure you guys are appropriately getting registered. And the last thing is important too. It's nice to have a picture, a bio. As you win conference or national player of the week, it's nice because it goes on our front page. It makes you guys look good. It makes us look good at the end of the day. And it literally takes 5 minutes to set up a bio with your picture and some information about who you are, where you're from, and all that good stuff. Coaches' participation waivers. Basically, anybody that is not a player needs to have a waiver on file with us in our office. This is simply for liability purposes. We don't want anyone in your dugout that we don't know about. Coaches, managers, trainers are not allowed on the field or in the dugouts unless they have this waiver on file. It takes no more than 5 minutes to fill out, and you can find it on the info tab of each of the Ncba websites. The academic eligibility letter, this is another big one. This goes right with the registration process for your players. So there's two formats under the info tab on the Ncba website. The big thing, it must be reviewed and signed by your school, whether that's the registrar, your faculty advisor, your club sports director, somebody at your school that can verify all the players that you have listed meet the requirements that we ask for the players to be eligible, whether that's full-time, you're not on probation, everything that we need from you guys, they will supply us and review and make sure it's accurate. Once we receive that form from you guys, we will go ahead and then activate all the guys who registered online initially. That's a big other misconception too. Hey, I registered online, why are not on the roster? Well, that's awesome. You registered online, but you never appeared on an academic letter proving you're eligible through the school. So we have no reason to put you on the roster. So they kind of go hand in hand. You got to keep that in mind as well. It's important that the form either comes from the school or it's stamped or a seal from the school. And that just protects the fact that a kid can't forge signatures, he can't try and clear somebody last minute, or he can't try and clear somebody he knows is not going to be eligible. Us having it from the school will protect that fact. And I think we have a question. Go ahead, Justin.
Thanks, Eric. For a question from the Air Force Academy saying, where can we find the scheduling request form and other forms and documents like this?
So if you go on the Ncba website, it's a great question. There is an info tab right in the top that you can hit down. It'll have a nice little drop-down menu of all these options. Hit that, and you'll see documents. Listed there is everything from the schedule request form to the league participation agreement to the rule book to anything else you could ever think of or need. The guides on there, which we'll talk about later. It's a great resource for you guys to use. But anything important on your day-to-day operations standpoint is found underneath that info tab. It's a good question. So the last thing, uploading player stats and team information. Your team manager, whoever has that access, has the ability to go on there and update the stats from the weekend. This is nice because you guys are eligible to win Conference Player of the Week. Those conference winners are then eligible for national honors later in the week. It's important that you update your stats from the weekend. That's how you're going to be eligible to get those awards. We're not going to just take your weekly submission form and take the word for it that Joe Smith went 20 for 20 with 20 homers. You need to upload those stats, and that's what we go off of. So it's important you do that. And like I was saying earlier, it's just a good look for the both of us. Having stats, having bios, it's good for the brand. It makes us look good. It makes you look good. We'll end up posting all the winners on social media. It's a nice look for family and friends to see as well. So it's kind of a win-win for all parties. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Jimmy Henderson, our Director of D2 Operations. He's going to talk about some other logistics within the league.
Okay, hey guys. As Eric and Christian mentioned, my name's Jimmy Henderson. I'm the Director of Division II Baseball Operations. This is my first season in the office, so I'm excited to work with all of you guys who if you're in Division II, we've probably communicated via email by now, but if not, we'll be in touch. So I'm excited to get started with you guys and have a good year. If you get a question at any time, just put it in the Facebook comments section, and Justin will relay it to us, and we'll live it live on air. As Eric was going into with the submission forms and getting Conference Player of the Week and National Player of the Week, that will be submitted to us through this weekly team submission form. I will send it out to you guys sometime before the season starts, and you will just submit to me the form, nominating one player from your team, one hitter and one pitcher. And from there, we will select one Conference Player of the Week, and there will also be a National Player of the Week. The form will make sense once you see it. You enter in the stats in there as well as putting them onto the website, and then we will gather all of those and have our nomination. Ncba dues. So you can see in the slide whether you're Division I or Division II what your dues are for the year. They are due by February 28th, but you get a $100 discount if you pay them before December 31st. So if you're able to do that, that's a good way to save a little bit of money by paying the dues early. By paying the dues, we provide for you, depending on your division, either 5 or 6 dozen baseballs. You're added onto our insurance policy, as well as what Christian said, that you get a full set of catcher's gear or 8 batting helmets, whatever you choose from there. If you see on the slide, we used to provide 2 bats, but coming out of COVID, we lowered the dues a little bit for you guys. But in return, we had to take away giving the 2 bats. So I know I've got some questions about if the bats are coming back. We hope to bring them back next year or in the future, but for this year, they will not be included in the league dues. Paying the dues, you can pay by credit card. You can send us a check. If you need an invoice, we can get you one of those, but just make sure you have that on your radar to get them paid at the latest by February 28th, and it's even better if you can get them in by December 31st. Okay, moving into team interest and team morale. To make sure you guys have good commitment numbers, the best way to do that is getting the word out on campus. We have some stuff listed there as popular ways to get that word out. Talk to your former officers about the strategies they've had to get word out. That could be a school newsletter, post flyers everywhere and anywhere on campus that you're allowed to. The only way to have a good turnout of tryouts is for the students to know about it. So make sure you're being proactive and working hard to get that done and get the word out about the team. Boosting team morale. It's just as important to do stuff together off the field than it is on. Having good team chemistry results that helps to get good results on the field. Getting to know each other, having team socials, just being with each other outside of baseball. Most teams that have success on the field, they want to be there. They like to be with each other, and they know things about each other. And the good way to do that, you got to spend time with each other off the field. So, look to get socials. Spring training is a great way. The best way you get to know somebody is to spend a lot of time with them in a car. So traveling to and from spring training, and plus getting down there is a good way to play teams that you normally probably wouldn't get an opportunity to play. So make sure you have that on your radar as you're looking into finalizing your schedule, and if spring training can happen for you, it's a great trip. Being organized is a key to success as well. Players can get frustrated when communication isn't well, and that goes along with team chemistry as well. So just make sure you're organized as far as practices, communication on traveling to and from games, who's going to be doing what at games, and everything in between. Budgeting. when you're going through and trying to figure out your budget for the year, it's important to set an accurate budget as well as budgeting enough. It's easier to figure out what you're going to do with extra money at the end of the year than it is to come up with more money at the end of the year. So when you're going through these budgets, just make sure you're estimating on the high end, for travel, uniforms, different costs. That's all included as having a team. Spring training cost, conference games cost, any umpires, anything you can think of, and estimate on the high end, because you do not want to be in a situation at the end of the year where you're scrambling to either do a fundraiser or have another round of player dues or anything in between. So just make sure that you're thinking of everything you can while setting your budget. Get multiple guys on it. Just, the team president, vice president, treasurer, a couple upperclassmen. The more minds you can have thinking of different costs you're going to incur through the year, it's more likely you won't leave anything out the more people you have working on it. Player dues, how much to charge. That's every situation at every school is going to be different kind of on this topic. You can have player dues due, at the beginning of the year. You can have it by semester, with some players maybe only playing in a fall or spring semester due to their different schedules and circumstances. But kind of the big thing with that is make sure they get paid. Try not to let guy, and we understand, and you'll have to understand the different situations your players are in, but try not to let them keep putting it off. You need to get them up front once they make the team, once they're committed for the semester, however you want to do it. But just make sure they are getting paid, as that's another quote-unquote fundraiser for you to bring in money. To handle all your costs throughout the year. Same thing, think about spring training, your travel costs, new uniforms, hats, socks, equipment, anything that goes along with the team. And once you think about that, that will kind of determine how much you think player dues should be, also depending on how many guys you have on the team. So that kind of can give you a good idea of what to do with the player dues. Tryouts, you can charge $5 or $10 for tryouts. That's another good fundraiser. If you get a good turnout at tryouts, and that goes back to marketing the team, making sure you get the word out on campus. The more guys you have at tryouts, the more you can bring in on player dues. And not that it needs to be anything crazy high, but that's just a kind of a good way to have that early fundraiser to supplement the bank account to start the year. Team equipment and uniform. Team equipment and uniforms. Our in-house guy, Justin Rickard, will be your contact there for Rawlings. He can get you quotes on anything you want. On uniforms, you get a 45% discount on uniforms. So, make sure you're utilizing that. And, that's the reason we have these sponsors in place, to help our membership teams and help them save a little bit of money in the process. These things are listed there, but yeah, caps, jerseys, socks, pants, baseballs, all the above is stuff you kind of need to have on your radar when you're getting ready for the season. And like I said, Justin Rickard is our contact with Rawlings. He's in the office. So email him or email anybody in the office and we can put you in touch with him for more information on all that type of stuff with your equipment and uniforms. Eric mentioned the guide a little bit earlier. This is a guide we have developed. It's on our website. It covers everything from starting a club to running your club to in-season operations with your club, postseason operations, kind of when you're transitioning between seasons, everything that, any question we've had, whether it came from the office or came from a team, it's been put into that guide. It's there for you guys to use as a resource. It could answer questions you have. It may spark a question you didn't know you had. So definitely utilize that. Check it out. Make sure you're looking into that. It has stuff on fundraising ideas and sponsorship ideas. It's right on our website under the Documents tab. So you can look at it on there pretty easily. So yeah, just make sure that you're looking at that, and we'll update it periodically as we get new information on kind of the structure of our season and conference realignment and regional and World Series host and everything like that. So just make sure you're checking that out. Okay, the final thing, we have a timeline here, just kind of outlines what's going to happen in your season and when to expect it. Starting off right now, we're at the league meeting and we're working on scheduling and conference realignment. Those hopefully will be out at the latest sometime next week. The fall season will begin September 10th. That is when you are eligible to play NCBA sanctioned games. So the fall season will run through November 14th. That will conclude. December 31st is your deadline for that early discount on dues, where you will get $100 off if paid by. Then a little bit of a dead period moving into February. The spring season will start. That will run, all the way through May, where we start our postseason. February 28th is your hard deadline on the dues. If you have not took advantage of the early discount, then the dues need paid by February 28th in full. Going into March, we'll have our spring training showcases, as we talked about a little bit earlier. So we'll get more information out on those. Look on the website. Our Panama City Beach registration is open, so it's a great event. The facilities are going to be beautiful, and you're going to have great weather in March and a chance to play however many games you want. So if that can be worked into your schedule, I would highly recommend trying to get down there for the spring training showcase. April 15th is the roster freeze, so no more moving up and down from there. And then once we get into May, we'll have the regular season concluding, getting into regional and World Series tournaments. If you make your regional and you can win that, then you'll get to go and play for a national championship at our World Series. So, yeah, that's kind of the timeline we're looking at for the whole season. And now I'm going to pass it off to Christian, where he's going to get into some postseason stuff and fall tournaments.
Thank you, boys. Great job. Yeah, we're going to talk about tournaments and championships. Before I get into that, I want to go back to the brain fart moment that I had talking about white barrel bats at the rules that were passed this upcoming year. What I was trying to mention was one of the teams brought up, well, what's the point of outlawing white barrel bats if teams are going to use them anyway? We played against all kinds of teams that were using the white barrel bats. I want to make sure that in a situation like that, we rely on the teams to police themselves. We're not at every game, so we rely on you to enforce the rules. White barrel bats are illegal, so if a team is using a white barrel bat, that needs to be brought to the attention of not only the other team, but more importantly to the umpire-in-chief, letting them know that that bat is illegal and can't be used. So you need to speak up in situations like that. I know at the World Series there were a few teams that had white barrel bats and were using them, and we brought it up to them and said you can't use it. So you need to speak up in situations like that. So that's what I wanted to reiterate, that you as teams need to police the game and make sure that the game is being played by the rules set by not only the NCAA but more specifically the NCBA. That aside, and we got a question. They like me.
Hey, Christian, this question is from UC Irvine again. They just want to know, are rosters set for the entire year the first time they are implemented, or are they allowed to change quarter to quarter, half to half, or are they allowed to change at all once they're set?
It's a good question. In UC Irvine's specific case, I don't know if you guys normally play games in the fall, but I know at the D2 level, all teams are eligible to play in the fall. So if you have a roster set in the fall, next semester or quarter, we are going to need an eligibility letter verifying that all the players that were on that fall roster are still academically eligible. That's the first thing. So you might have a guy that goes on academic warning. He will be ineligible to compete that spring. Another factor that comes into play, teams that play in the fall that have a fall roster, you can remove up to 5 players in a tight window of January 25th through the 31st. You can remove up to 5 players if they meet certain requirements. And I don't hold me to it, but it's if they graduated after the fall semester, if they transferred to another school, if they withdrew from the university, they can be removed. But for the most part, yes, your roster, once it is set, in the fall, it is going to move to the spring, and there's some cases where you might, remove a guy and have now roster flexibility to add more players. So hopefully that answers your question. But for teams that play spring only, you can't submit an academic letter until, I believe, January 31st anyway. So whatever you submit in the spring is going to be your roster until the end of the year. And keep in mind the roster freezes April 15th, so you can't add any players after April 15th. So hopefully, Rich, that answered your questions. Session 2, tournaments and championships. We are going to be looking at NCBA fall tournaments. We're going to talk about the spring training showcase, which we're really, 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 really excited about. And we're going to talk about postseason, D2 regionals, D1 regionals, and then the national championships. We have some fall tournaments that we're offering this fall, 4 to be exact. We have Greenville Fall Invitational. That's got to be 9, 10, 11 years running down in Greenville, South Carolina. That is full, 12 teams, but if we have more teams that are interested, certainly send in your registration paperwork and put you on a waiting list. Jimmy Henderson's running that one. That's his information below there. Wood Wars, which we touched on earlier. No disrespect to the other fall tournaments on this page, but Wood Wars is second to none. Ryan just puts on an incredible show down in Euless, Texas. That's a 16-teamer, and that is full. But again, if you're interested in joining, get on the waiting list. Battle Creek Blast, October 1st through 3rd in Battle Creek, Michigan. Again, that one's full. We have a lot of teams that are eager to play, obviously. But again, get on the waiting list there. And then in the Charleston Fall Invitational, that's in Charleston, West Virginia, a beautiful brand new all-turf complex. We're looking for 8 teams. There's 2 spots available. They might be looking at running just a 6-teamer down there. But Eric Curator is running that one, so we're excited about that as well. We wanted to get one out west like we normally do, just weren't able to get field availability at our normal field. So we hope to open a fall event up in, we're out in Las Vegas, Henderson, Nevada, for fall of 2022. The Spring Training Showcase in Panama City Beach, Swing into Spring is what we call it. We're really, really excited that registration is now open, so teams can begin signing up for that event. While we loved our event down in Tampa the last, I think, 15 years, the Panama City Beach is second to none. The complex is brand new, all turf fields. It's right by the beach. We have great accommodations for teams. We have accommodations from, more budget friendly to if you want to blow it up and, be in this beautiful, condo right on the water, you can do that. I also want to mention there, you might see pricing for lodging much higher, but keep in mind the reason it's higher is probably because you can put more guys in a condo or an apartment, which has, obviously the kitchen, the living room, laundry. So don't be discouraged by that at all. So we're thrilled to have this complex. It's going to be so much better scheduling wise. I know teams, we were starting at 8 a.m. and we were finishing up at a game starting at 7 p.m. We were going all day. So as a staff, it was really tough. But for teams with 5 fields in one complex, we're able to condense the schedule. We're able to have more games going on at once. And them being in a clover pattern, we have a guy that can basically watch all 5 fields all at once. So it's just a tremendous facility. We're so excited about it. We know we have teams that come to spring training every single year. They absolutely love it. I know our retention numbers from year to year are through the roof because teams love it so much. And if you are a team on the fence or a team interested about it, please reach out to Sandy Sanderson, ask about the paperwork. You see all the pricing there. You can also go onto our website. There's a spring training page that you can look at with all the details. But I sincerely, want you guys to understand how great of an experience it is, because it is a la carte. You play as many games as you want. You make it the experience that you want it to be. If you want to play 2 games and have, a blowout spring break down in Panama City Beach, you can do that. If you want to make it more baseball focused and play 6-7 games in the week, you can do that. It's all how you want to do it. I also want to mention the Rawlings free agent team. If you are a player where the team, can't commit to going, but you want to go, that we have an option for you. You play on the Rawlings free agent team, where it's a mishmash of different players from, in your situation, from different teams all mixed together. So it's cool that, you get to play ball with, some players from, other club teams. So that's certainly an option. If your whole team doesn't want to go, maybe it's one or two you want to go down, we have an option for you. But registration is open. Check out the fields. I think we have some pictures online. Sandy Sanderson is actually down in Panama City Beach as we speak. He was negotiating some hotel contracts, also taking a tour of this facility, making sure it's up to snuff for our teams when they come down there in March. But yeah, I highly encourage everybody to go down. I know our numbers, teams that go down, and how successful they are during the spring. A lot of teams that go down are in the postseason because it helps them out so much. So definitely look into it. If you have questions about it, reach out to Sandy. As you can see, we have Swing into Spring West. Information will be coming out about that shortly and signing up for that. We're working on that as we speak. And just to mention again on lodging, your teams will be required to stay in the lodging partners that we have set up. But we have negotiated rates. They're beautiful, like I said, from budget friendly to, blow it out, let's get going type of room. So I think teams are just going to be absolutely thrilled with the options here. We got that's good. Let's get a question.
All right, Christian. This question is from Central Michigan University.
CMU.
And they just want to know, how do they request team manager access?
You will be getting instructions about that in the coming days. But you can go online right now. A very underutilized portion of the club baseball website is the documents section. If you go to the main page, there's an info tab. You can go to documents, and there's a whole slew of important documents that you can view. One of those is the team manager login instructions, and that'll take you through exactly what you need to do to get that team manager access. But we as a league will be sending out that information here shortly. We'll be telling you exactly what you need to do. But if you want to take it on yourself to get that figured out right now, you can go online, download the login instructions, and basically it's just emailing Eric Curator saying, hey, can you get me access to the team manager access. So hopefully that answers your question. D2 regional tournaments, not much to go on right now. We don't have anything set, but to give you kind of a bird's eye view, we're looking at May 6th through 8th is when they're going to be taking place. We're always trying to find a neutral location for those events specific to that region, so it makes it travel friendly for all the teams in that region. We have a lot of cities that express interest in these types of events because it is usually in most cases a 4-team event. Leads me to the next point. All 8 are 4-team regionals, and we're doing the same thing at the World Series and spring training, but just on a much smaller level. We're getting a host hotel where we're negotiating discounted rates. We're going to have trophies. You're going to get additional games. All the field and umpire costs are completely taken care of. And you're getting that opportunity to compete in the postseason. If you have any recommendations for a site, please send them our way. We love to have a inventory of fields that we can look at. So please send them our way. We're for the World Series at the D2 level, nothing set in stone. We have something, we feel that's, we're right on the cusp of signing, but I don't want to jinx anything. So we're looking at different places, Pittsburgh, Kansas, where we've been for a number of years as an option. We're looking at other possibilities like Fort Scott, Kansas, 8 teams, 5-day tournament. That's going to be May 20th through the 24th. 8 regions will be represented, and if you have any recommendations, again, please send them our way. We would love to look at them and see if it's a viable option. D1 regional tournaments, May 13th through 15th. And again, I don't need to go over this information. We're looking at the same thing as D2, neutral sites. We're getting you discounted hotels and championship trophies and all that jazz. So if you have any sites, I'll say it again. Please let us know. We would love to have them. D1 World Series, nothing set in stone yet. COVID, normally we're signing contracts where they're multi-year and that we know where we're going year after year. We've been thrown a wrench with COVID and, multiple year deals with fields have been a little more tough to negotiate. So that's why we're kind of year to year now. But we hope when we get back into the swing of things that we'll be signing multi-year deals. But in the D1 realm of things, Pittsburgh, Kansas, who hosted this past World Series, could be an option. Joplin, Missouri, Chicago, Illinois, State College, PA has shown some interest. So we'll have some more information about that when we kind of get through, late summer and early fall, when we can really focus in on the postseason. Our last session, sponsors and fundraising. Please listen up for this because we have a lot of great sponsors on board for you. Our Director of Marketing, Eric Curator, will take you through a lot of those. So please stick with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. As he was saying, we're going to talk some sponsors and fundraising. I'm going to speak first. Justin Rickard will speak after me, and Felicia Battaglia will bring it home with the game, as she'll talk about in a little bit. So sponsors and fundraising. We have Rawlings Fundraiser, Motel 6, Avis, The Game. As we were talking about earlier, these are designed to help you guys. Now more than ever, if anything, when budgets are tight. We got exclusive discounts for all you guys, whether it's for equipment, whether it's for travel, all of the above. These are things that we'd love for you guys to explore because it's really just going to help you guys at the end of the day. The first one, fundraising opportunities. So our exclusive partners fundraiser. My contact information is there. If you have any questions, please let me know. Fundraiser is a really easy tool to utilize. It's very similar to GoFundMe. Here's an example that we used from 2019. Shout out to Maryland D2 Club Baseball. They raised about $10,000, just over $10,000 in about a week. They qualified for the World Series and needed a quick turnaround, needed some funds, and they made it happen, which was impressive. So looking back at the 18-19 season, and we look back at 18-19 because that was the last full normal season, I guess you can call it. Teams raised just over $56,000. For anything really, whether it's uniforms, equipment, travel, anything that you guys can need. This is a great resource for you guys to use. It's nice because you can share it on Facebook, Twitter, social media. It's very easy just to share it like that and give it to whoever, and then they make their donations from there by a couple clicks of a button. It's nice to hold your guys accountable for it. Say, hey, can you guys send this to 5 to 10 guys each? Domino effect, that's a lot of eyes getting on the campaign to hopefully get you guys a lot of donations. Just a reminder how to ask a question. Hit that chat box, make a comment, leave your name, school. We'll answer it accordingly. So travel sponsors, Motel 6 and Avis. My contact information is there if you guys have any questions about anything we're going to go over here. Motel 6 is the fishing and lodging partner of the Ncba. All of you guys are going to be traveling this spring. You will not have all home games. I can guarantee you that. So it's great to look into Motel 6 if you need it. They're very budget friendly. The price point is very nice for college athletes who are on a budget. With over 1,200 locations nationwide, it's a good possibility they're going to have something where you're going to be going. So go ahead and give them a look. We got a great portal exclusive to you guys with a 10% discount. Click that link there. See if it's a good option for you guys when you travel. Avis is the preferred rental car of the Ncba, and the two biggest things, they're bold and underlined. They have exclusive pricing that not everybody can get. It's exclusive to you guys, and the biggest thing of all is they waive that under 25 fee. So with all you guys being under 25, I would assume, unless you have coaches or anything like that, this is huge for you guys because normally if you were 18, 19, 20, and you go to rent a car, they're going to charge you a lot on top just because of that extra fee for being under 25. So with this discount, you guys, it's waived. It'll save you a lot of money, and the exclusive pricing is great too. So it's something you guys should really look into when you travel. And not to mention, it just looks nice, and it's a lot easier when you guys show up in vans as opposed to 6, 7 cars, personal cars. Everybody packed in. You're going to be expensing on gas and who's driving. Just show up in vans. It's easy. It's great pricing, and that under 25 fee being waived is huge. They also have a nice preferred program. You guys get extra benefits once you sign up. It's kind of like an honors program. You get free rentals along the way. You get points that add up. They make rentals real easy when you show up and you're a member. They'll have your car ready on the spot. It's real easy to use. It's something that we definitely recommend for you guys. And it's free to join. Also very big. Another reminder how to ask a question. Just mention who you're with, your name, ask the question, and we'll get to you as soon as possible. We're going to go ahead and move on to equipment sponsors with Rawlings in the game. I'm going to pass it off to Justin here.
All right. Hey, guys, this is Justin here. Talk about some Rawlings stuff for you guys today. So let's just get right into it. You see my information there up on the screen. Please get in contact with me. Shoot me an email. You can give me a phone call if you want to, but I'll be straight up with you. Email, I can get you way more information way quicker, so that's definitely the best way to go about getting in touch with me here to start. So here's my information there. Please feel free to reach out to me. I make sure I take care of everything for you, from getting you guys your orders, your price points, to placing the orders for you, collecting the money from you, and I help promote all this great stuff that we get from Rawlings. Overall, that's just, please get in touch with me. Let's get some stuff moving here quickly. Season's approaching quicker than we think, especially for those teams in the fall. So let's get moving on that, eh? Anyway, so we got the official baseball of the Ncba, and we have practice baseballs and game baseballs for purchase. You see the prices down there. We have plenty in stock, just in general, and we are looking to go on those as well. So, like I said, we've got plenty of practice baseballs. Ncba game baseballs, we'll be getting 5 or 6 dozen on top, depending if you're in D1 or D2, and that server will be coming out pretty soon. So just feel free to get in touch with me. I know I sold a few practice baseballs and game baseballs to some teams already, so feel free to get going on that and get in touch with me if you want some more of those. The official uniform sponsor now, we're talking about uniforms, jerseys. It's everybody's favorite part of pretty much any sport. If you're in charge of football, baseball, basketball, softball, whatever, you want to get some nice uniforms. You want your team to look good when you're out in the field. So we offer 45% off discount through November 30th. So all the way through November, you get 45% off pretty much anything Rawlings-wise. So jerseys, that's the biggest money saver you can have for your game, for your team, just in general. And for this coming season, D1, D2, you have to have 2 sets of contrasting jerseys in general. So keep that in mind. If you've been rolling with one jersey here for the past few years in D2, then please keep in mind you're going to want to try to get a contrasting jersey for this year. Everything gets the Ncba logo on it, jersey, pants, anything customized from Rawlings through me, through the Ncba. You get that patch on there as well. And we can get into some pricing-wise here, next slide that we talk about. But, yeah, all around 45% off through November 30th. That's a huge deal. After that date through the end of the season, we're at 35% off. So, yeah, I mean, anything before you pay before the 30th, November 30th, you're good to go for 45%. Anything after that, 35%. So sooner the better. Let's get on top of it so we can get you guys everything you need as soon as possible. As far as jerseys go, the biggest hit right now is the sublimated stuff. So sublimated is pretty much, it's a screen print onto the jersey rather than the traditional stitch-on. This stuff is not only way cheaper right now, guys, but it is way more customizable for the same price. So if you just want like a name and a number on the front and the back, well, guess what? You can add a name on the back and you can add a logo on the sleeve, and it's the same price if you don't get that stuff. So it's way better than if you just go with the customized stuff. You have to add all that stuff a la carte, so you have to pay for that stuff extra on top, the names, the logos, whatever. So let's go with the sublimated stuff this year, It's way more cost efficient for you guys, and we know you guys are within a budget, probably maybe more so this year than any other year because you're coming back from COVID, but this is where we want to be with you guys. We want to give you guys the best deal. That's why we have the sponsorship. So I'm going to be straight up with you right now. Sublimated jersey, sublimated pants. You're going to get a way better deal. Get a fully swagged out jersey for your whole team, top to bottom, and it's just going to be way more cost efficient for you than going with the stitched on stuff, maybe a little more fancier stuff. And they're still great jerseys. It's the great it's the same fabric no matter you get the sublimated stuff, you get the custom stuff with the stitched on fabric. It's still the same fabric all around. It's just the decoration that's different. So we highly recommend that sublimated stuff. I really wanted to make a point of this because it's going to help you guys out budgeting wise and getting your team completely, a uniform for your entire team. And this is going to make your lives a lot easier. Lead times right now on this are great, 4 to 6 weeks once we place the orders. So if you have some time here, but like I said, November 30th, 45%, December 1st and on, 35%. You might as well get the 45%, so let's get these orders rolling now. Here's some nice uniform designs for you guys, some mock-ups that we've done in the past. Some really nice ones here. Obviously, there's way more than this that you can do. You can go to, get in touch with me. I'll give you some links to go, Jersey Builder you can go to so you can get your stuff, start designing your stuff, send it to me, and I can help you get it priced out pretty quickly. But those are some uniforms that have been done in the past. We do have custom jerseys, some stock jerseys. Like I said, these have the stitched on fabric. Right now, it's just ridiculous how expensive they are. So I don't really, we can do it for you. Don't get me wrong. We can do it for you. If you want to do it, if you have the money, feel free. Come to me. I'll help you out. I'll make sure you get what you want. But these jerseys are a little more pricey right now. Just mainly manufacturing things and stuff that is out of our control personally. So I'm not trying to push you away from it, but it is definitely something that to take into account. It looks like we have a question here. Jimmy took over for me on that end, so Jimmy, hit me with it. Here we go. What do we got?
Okay, Michael from Salisbury asked, are jersey designs saved with Rawlings if we choose to keep the designs we currently have home and away?
Good question. Salisbury, yes, we do save designs. So if you got a design from, say, last year, 2020, you got designed for 2019. I have that jersey on file, so if you just want to order more of those, let me know. I can get in touch with you, or I'll give you the price. I'll give you the price per jersey for that, and I can, it's easy as tell me how many jerseys you want. I invoice you for it. You pay for it. You give me the jerseys and sizes. I place the order right then and there. Pretty much no more questions asked. I have your jerseys on file if you order them pretty much within the last 4 or 5 years. Through Rawlings specifically, I have them, and we should be good to go there. So just let me know how many you want. Get in touch with me, and I'll definitely help you out. All right, good question there. Like I said, on the stock and custom jerseys, that's stitched on stuff, so definitely a little more pricey. We recommend sublimated. I recommend sublimated personally. I like them better anyway, but totally up to you. We also the official equipment supplier of the Ncba, so same thing with the jersey, same thing with the, say you want a glove, you want a bat, you want catcher's equipment, helmets, bags, whatever. It's anything in the catalog that I have on my file, get it from me, reach out to me, shoot me an email, I'll give it to you. 45% off through November 30th, 35% off anytime after that through the end of the year, which would be June 30th. So, we have pretty much any kind of equipment that you need. Get in touch with me. Let me know what you want. I can get you a discounted price for it. You also get your choice between 8 helmets or a set of catcher's gear through the survey that should be coming out to you pretty soon here within the next week or two. That stuff is on us. It's built into the dues that you guys have. So that's all Rawlings stuff. It's fantastic quality, great stuff. You get, like I said, 8 helmets or a set of catcher's gear. But, yeah, anything in that catalog, again, if you want the catalog, get in touch with me. I'll send it to you. And 45% off anything in that catalog. So please, please, please take a look at it. A lot of good stuff in there, a lot of quality stuff. Same thing on the apparel side. It's all high quality. I'm not going to keep telling you it's 45% off because I think I've ran that down your throats enough tonight. But that is where we are at, and we have cage jackets, shorts, pullovers, sweatshirts. I'm not going to insult you guys. You can read that stuff on the screen there. But that's all available. Unfortunately, there is no decoration that can be done to this apparel at this point right now. We can't, you can't embroider it, you can't put a logo on it, we can't put a name on it, we can't put a number on it. Unfortunately, that is not a capability that Rawlings has at this moment. We are trying to work with them to get it back, but it's not something we can do right now. So if that is something that can be done in the future, I will definitely be sure to reach out to everybody, make sure it is, because I know some nice team wear, some spirit wear, whatever you guys call it nowadays. That's definitely something everybody wants, something that makes a team look good. It's definitely a good team bonding thing to look good as a team and have matching stuff on the field and off the field. So that's something we definitely look out for you guys, but it's definitely some good material here still, and we know that a lot of teams get some of this apparel stuff and then they go to some local place, get it embroidered on campus or around campus, and you can still look good as a team, and it's still really high quality stuff. So it's definitely something I recommend getting. Great prices on everything too, like I said before. So overall, that's the whole Rawlings picture. Pretty much from top to bottom, you got the apparel to the uniforms to everything else. So that is, I just encourage you guys to reach out to me. Like I said, you have my email address from those earlier slides and phone number, so feel free to reach out to me, email, phone call, whatever you want to do, and I'll be sure to get you on the right track, get you guys what you need. So now that's it for Rawlings. We're going to move on to the game here. Felicia's about to step up here to the mic. She's going to get you everything you need to know for your headwear, for your hats, and just be able to help you out. All right.
Hi, everybody. I am Felicia Battaglia. Welcome to all the newcomers. If I haven't seen you yet, or if I haven't talked to you yet, welcome back, everybody that's finally getting back on the field and returning. It has been a long time. I am excited to work with everybody again. I get the advantage of working with every team in the Ncba, whether you're D1, D2. I get in touch with you, or you can reach out to me. Email's the best way, but you can give me a call, of course. My phone number has changed. This is the new updated phone number. It's also on the website. But I get to talk to every team, and I would say of the 260 or so teams we have, about a third of you have already reached out to me, and about half of that have already placed their orders. So that is great. My job is to help you get your designs in, get your invoices out to you, make sure everybody's paid, place the orders with the game, make sure that they handle all of your designs and getting the artwork approvals and everything with your school and getting them to you as fast as we can. Until November 15th, right now we have a $2 off per hat deal going on. So if you order a stock hat right now with the front logo that's included and the back Ncba logo that's included, you can get those for $17 right now. That's a really good deal. If you do a custom one, it's $1 per hat more, simply because of shipping and things that are involved with custom. But still, $18 a hat, and that's not a bad deal. If you decide to add an extra logo to the side or an extra one above our back Ncba logo, that's an extra $1 per hat. But I really, really encourage all of you guys to take advantage of the $2 off per hat that goes until November 15th. And then after that, it becomes a little more dicey getting your hats before the start of the season, just because it's the holidays and production schedules and things like that. So the sooner you get in touch with me about the design and starting to get an order together, the better. Of course, you can wait, because I know a lot of teams aren't going to play till spring still, or still waiting to make sure that they have all their clearances and everything. But just starting those talks will really, really help things along. Once we get an order placed and the artwork is approved by your school and your team, it takes about 4 to 6 weeks for custom hats to be made, and then they get shipped. If you go with a stock hat, it takes about 10 to 15 days. So we have a little more leeway with ordering stock hats. We can wait a little bit longer to place those orders. But if you're going custom, which I would say almost every team does, because it's a really good deal, because the price, like I said, it's only $1 more. The sooner you get those in, the better, because of the production times. The game holds the majority of licenses for your schools. There is a handful of schools that they do not have and I believe most of you know who you are. With those schools, we have a few different options, which I can walk you through if that happens. We can also supply you with off-the-field headwear for your teams to sell to friends and family. That's a good fundraiser. I've heard before in the past that some schools don't allow it, but if they do, it's a great thing to get a hold of ahead of time. I've had a few requests in past years about doing that around Christmas time, around the holidays. If you want to do that, I would suggest getting an order together in October in order to place that order and have them back sometime within the holidays. Otherwise, like I said, 10 to 15 days or 4 to 6 weeks, it takes some time to get them back. We also have Boonies. These are great for off the field and for the team. They're, whoop, there we go. They're stock, and there's custom ones. We put your front logo on the front, and there's no extra logos that they're able to apply, but there's a lot of different color selections. And then they also do straw hats too and beanies, but those aren't usually ordered as often. You can go to thegameheadwear.com and you can check out everything that they have to offer for on the field. You can put a design together and email it to me directly, and then I can help you price it out and take the order from there. I would say if your team has been in the league within the past 6 years, I have artwork already saved. You can always change that. We can revise it up. We can go with a whole different design if you want. But chances are I still have your artwork. If you're just in a hurry, you just need some refill hats, that would be the fastest route to go for sure. But I've been here for a long time now, so chances are I have your artwork. But the important thing to remember is I'm going to reach out to every single one of you teams individually. If you haven't heard from me yet, you will. You're welcome to reach out to me as well. And I understand that some teams already have hats because when COVID shut everybody down, they had already ordered them but never played in them. So some of you will not need them, but I do need to check you off our list just to make sure everybody's taken care of and good to go to play this year. And if you need them, we'll get them done as fast as I can for a good price. And I'm going to turn this over to Christian. It looks like. Thank you.
Thank you, Felicia, and Felicia has been around for a long time, and she knows what she's doing. So please reach out to her, if you haven't already, so she can check you off her list. But she does great things, and you'll love working with her on your hat orders. Just want to touch on the bat situation. Obviously, we talked about it earlier with Jimmy. We're not offering the 2 bats this year. It was a contract year for our bat sponsorship. Bat prices skyrocketed. We didn't want to pass that on to you, so we fully expect to have bats back in the mix for 22-23. But this year, if you're looking to order some bats, we're going to be looking to put some stores up: Marucci, DeMarini, Rawlings, Louisville Slugger, to have options, hopefully at discounted prices that you won't find anywhere else. So just be on the lookout for that. That's something we wanted to mention. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I can't thank you enough if you stayed throughout the duration of this meeting. Please let any other of your teammates or your coaches know that weren't able to tune in tonight, that they can find the recorded version on the Facebook page and group and watch at their earliest convenience. But thank you again. And we want you to make sure you promote the league and the website. Please visit the website as much as possible. We have a lot of great information on there. So if you haven't visited the website, please go to it and check it out. Our sponsors that we just went over, please try to give them business so that we're able to offer those sponsorships to you in the future. I mentioned it earlier with the bat situation. When there's an issue that arises, please notify us. Please speak up. Let no questions go unanswered. Also, keeping the lines of communication open, that's extremely important, especially now. We have a ton of information going out in the coming days and weeks. So making sure that we have the correct correct contact information is essential. And then please be prompt in meeting deadlines. We have several coming up. Schedule request forms, one of the big ones that we have out there right now. So make sure to meet those deadlines. And last but not least, always remember, it's a game and have fun. I'm muted.